Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. Today's video is just called I Don't Know What to Say, because I really don't. As some of you probably know, I'm sure not all of you do, yesterday I decided that I was going to make a GoFundMe page for my family because of a situation that we are currently going through just regarding my daughter's health. She's chronically ill. She goes through a lot of stuff. And the house that we have been renting for the past several years is just it's not cutting it for us anymore. I go into more detail on the GoFundMe page, so if you want to look at that, you can. But I'm not really here today to have a pity party for myself. What I am here for today is to say thank you. I posted that GoFundMe page about 19 hours ago, and now I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon. I probably will not schedule this to be posted until Thursday, but as of Wednesday afternoon, so 19 hours after making the GoFundMe page, I have already reached 45% of my goal. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for your generosity. And it doesn't even have to be your contributions to the GoFundMe. I understand that not everybody can do that. Trust me, I get it. But I just want to say thank you for your encouragement and thank you for your kind words, whether it's for this situation or even the videos that I've been making. Thank you so much for the words of gratitude. When people thank me for the things that I speak about, you don't know how much I need to hear that sometimes, because it's tough doing this sometimes. But I feel like the Lord has he lit a fire under me, and that's why I keep on keeping on with doing what I do. But I really also wanted to share with you how I know that some of us have some really tough situations, and it's not something that I talk about here on my channel because that's not what my channel is for. And in all fairness, I have to say that I am very content with my life. One of my favorite mottos is bloom where you are planted. I actually have that hanging on my kitchen wall. I have a little wall hanging of that, and I firmly believe that no matter what situation that we are in, that God has called us to be stewards of our lives and to make the best of that situation. Now, despite that, again, I know that not everybody has it as easy as other people, but what I can tell you is that I have learned through experience that God can use just sometimes the most unimaginable things to bring us closer to Him and to use us in a way that we never thought would be possible. And I know that this situation that we are going through right now, I'm waiting to see. I know that the Lord has great things in store for us. And He has shown me that through you. He has shown me that through my children and through their optimism. And this isn't the first time. When you have a chronically ill child, you kind of get used to having ups and downs, and some of the downs are worse than others. Now, one thing I will say is that my daughter, she is now in what they call a flare-up. She's been in one for about 1.5 years. So it's not getting better. It's only getting worse. And so the one thing that I will add in here is that the major problem is that her flare-ups do cause her to have to use the bathroom over 10 times a day. And she's in there for quite a while. And she's okay with me sharing this. I'm not using her name or anything. I already asked her. She said it's fine. But we have 8 people living in our house. So we have my husband and me, and then our 6 youngest children are all still living at home. And so the situation has just gotten to the point where we urgently need a house that has more than one bathroom. That's the gist of it. And unfortunately, most landlords do not want to rent to large families. They just don't. I think that they look at a crew of children and they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to destroy the house. I'm not going to rent to them. And then they just kind of pass you on by. So, that's really why we are where we are, is because this landlord was willing to rent to us. And this house has served its purpose, and I'm so thankful for it. Back in 2019 was the last time that we were really going through a tough time. My daughter, the one that I'm currently talking about, was going through a flare-up then as well. She was about 13 years old. She lost 50 pounds. She had gotten down to about 97 pounds, and she had to be hospitalized for 8 days. And I stayed with her the whole time that she was in the hospital. Somehow ended up catching pneumonia while I was in the hospital with her. And so then I came home, and while I had pneumonia, my husband informed me that the house that we had currently been living in for a few years, the landlord told him, I'm selling the house. And we basically had just a few weeks to move because we didn't have a lease anymore. We had been there a while and just never redid a lease. So in the midst of all that, we're scrambling to find a house. About 3 weeks after her first hospitalization, my daughter had to go back in the hospital again. And this time I think she was in for 5 days. And while we were there, my daughter and I, because again, I stayed with her. And while we were there, that was when my husband found the house that my daughter is living in now. So we have been in this row of houses since 2019. We were living 4 doors down originally, and then we decided that the landlord asked us if we wanted to take the end house, so we decided to do that. So we moved down to the end house, and then my daughter my daughter's husband, when they got engaged, he took over the old one that we had been renting. So they're there now, and we're here on the end house. But we have been in this area, this row, for 5 years now. And, 1 bathroom, I was willing to, it was a roof over our heads. And it was a blessing because I was hoping to get out of the city. And this is a very small town that we live in now. It's called a borough. And, I share stuff from here all the time. There's lots of trails and canals. It's just a beautiful place to live. And through that really awful time with my daughter, the Lord brought so many amazing gifts to us and brought us closer to Him in a way that I never thought possible. And it's hard. I mentioned in my GoFundMe page that there's no parking on my street and we don't have like a driveway or anything. So there are times, most of the time, right now, as a matter of fact, that I have to park like 3 blocks away from my house. And so the very first night that my daughter and I left the hospital, the very first time we came to the house, we had to park 3 blocks away. And she had just had a colonoscopy and she was exhausted. And yeah, we had to trek down here. And I thought to myself, Lord, is this really what you want for us? But again, I was thankful to have a roof over our head because we were kind of thrown for a loop. We weren't expecting to have to do that. And in that period of time, not only have we come to just completely embrace this community, and the community has embraced us, and we just really take advantage of all of the outside things that there are here, but we found the church that we are at now. We've been there for about 3 years. It's such a wonderful place to be. It's the first church I have ever been at where you are actually treated as a genuine family. I know that churches always say that all the time. Oh, we're a family of believers. This church actually, they mean it. And they, we live our lives together and do things together. That is where my daughter met her husband. Very first day that we went to church there. If love at first sight is a real thing, that was it. She met her husband there, and now we have a beautiful granddaughter because of it. And my children have thrived here. And I thank the Lord every day for bringing us here. And I know that because of being able to look back at that time, at a time that was really awful, that God has better things in store for us. I know that he does. So fast forward to now, to where we are now. Our situation is not as dire as it was then, but it's just getting to the point where I will say that we urgently need to find somewhere else that has 2 bathrooms. I mean, yeah, it kind of sounds petty, but if you would understand the situation, it's just, there's always a line for the bathroom at my house. And I mean a line, like 4 children, like urgently waiting to use the bathroom. At least once a day, if not more, one of my children has to run over to my daughter's house 4 doors down to ask her if they can please use her bathroom, because they just can't hold it anymore. And that's just day in and day out. That's what we have been dealing with. And it's not my daughter's fault at all. She gets frustrated because people are always banging on the door when she's in there, and the other children get frustrated because she's banging on the door when they're in there. And it's getting to the point where we just can't live this way anymore. And so that's why I thought, you know what, I would reach out with this GoFundMe. And I will tell you, I don't like to ask for things, like, at all. I remember years ago when we were at our old church and my younger children were still pretty small, I was walking out of the church surrounded by my younger children, and then I was carrying the youngest in her car seat, and I was juggling Bibles and all their papers and everything. And, people would ask me if I needed help out to the car, and I just really liked being self-sufficient. So I would always say, no, that's okay. I've got it. But I would clearly be struggling until one day the pastor's wife said to me, Shelly, she said, do you realize that when you refuse to ask for help or accept it when it's offered and you need it, that is a pride issue? And I never thought of it that way. So it was with complete humility that I decided to just go ahead and post the GoFundMe to let everyone know about it. And, I'm going to be honest, it was almost a humiliating feeling for me, because I still do have that pride issue where I don't like to ask for things. But as a family of believers, I also know that we are called to, be there for one another and to support one another. And so I took that step out in faith, and I'm so excited to see where the Lord is going to take me. And just as one last thing, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how completely overwhelming this is for me. I'm just filled with gratitude. I almost can't contain it. And yeah, thank you. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you do. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one here. And if you like my work, usually my other work, and would like to support my channel, I will leave a link in the description box for my YouTube membership, or you can just click on it right on my channel page. And I hope you have a great day. And again, God bless you and thank you so much.